my understanding that the maximum amount, if you've been determined that you do not have insurance and that you've gone through the process of application and that you have damage, that the maximum amount that they will give to an individual qualifies is $29,900. So you'll need to make sure you follow through on that, and that's an area that I may be wrong on. I don't think I'm wrong, but if I am, someone higher than me is. So, pretty important to know. Also, FEMA will not put a property back to its condition prior to the flood. It will only put a property in an inhabitable position. So if you have a bunch of things in your house, they're not interested in that. And that's the $29,900. So the other thing would be, so you have individual assistance, and that's what I just talked about. It's called IA. Then you have public assistance. That's where we come into place. Our wastewater treatment plant, if all goes as projected according to Pat Hickey, we have a potential loss of $20 to $30 million just on that one wastewater treatment plant. We have intersections, Riverside Drive intersection, Crossland Drive on Crossland Riverside, and others that our boxes have been destroyed, and we're having to go as quick as we can to try to find some to be able to get them up and going, so our signalization will work again. So you can say we all have significant challenges to be able to recover from this. And lest I forget, I would like to ask the council members, please raise their hand, those council members that are here, so we'll recognize them. Gino Grubbs, Candy Johnson, David Allen, Mark Harris, I saw again, Joel Wallace, Wallace Red, Bill Forrester, Dana McLaughlin, Jeff Burkhart, and James Lewis. Thank you. They're all here today. They stand ready to help. Okay. From a government standpoint, so often you hear this story about we're from the government and we're here to help you. And it's kind of a running joke about that. In this case, in the department head meeting this morning, I can speak for the department heads that we intend on doing everything we can to help you. We intend on going outside the boundaries that are set up for governments that you're not supposed to go outside the boundaries on. Some things we can't do. And when we say we can't, I'm telling you we really can't. But we intend on trying to help you on your cleaning up. We intend on helping you with volunteers. We intend to help you with the city government. And doing everything we can to kind of get you back to a situation that kind of gets you and your families back going again. And that's pretty important to me, the city council, and the department heads. And we think we're setting up an organization that will help make that happen. Once that we set up, if it happens like it happened here in the tornado, once that the FEMA comes in, since we've been declared a disaster area and FEMA comes in, they will set up a small business administration loan area. They did the Chamber of Commerce in '99. And that's where I've asked James Chavez to research that and to check to see what the procedure is there. So James, if you want to come up just a moment and give us some updates on what you're finding there.
Well, we're still working on it, but first, I know a lot of you have tried to get down to the area to see, and if you hadn't noticed, there's a whole bunch of folks protecting your buildings. Our police department, our department heads, their staffs, road department, TWRA are all down there. They've been down there around the clock, making sure that people are not vandalizing your buildings, the spectators aren't getting too close. So if you would, just please help me thank them for what they're doing to keep this thing going. And we know it starts at the top, so Mayor, thank you. It's been a lot of hours for you and your team. My entire staff, and they're here as well, we were on a conference call today with some of our peer communities. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, went through what we are going through, and they were extremely helpful. So with regard to SBA, we're still working on it. What I can tell you is, you need to do, when he told you to get online and do the FEMA application, get online and do it. Your line to SBA is going to be through that application. And we were actually encouraged by Senator Alexander's staff to have you call. Get a person on the phone. The number is 1-800-621-3362. I'm going to repeat it. 1-800-621-3362. Okay? And now that I think we've been declared, you can actually get a case number, and that'll start our process moving forward. A couple of other things. One of the lessons, the hard lessons that the business community of Cedar Rapids has learned is that the lack of documentation is hindering reimbursements. So when you get into your buildings and you start cleaning stuff out, do not throw things away that are related to any purchase. Any documentation they may provide to equipment you had, desks, furnishings, anything. Don't throw it away. If it's nasty looking, find someplace safe to put it, zip it up in a Ziploc, whatever you got to do, save it. Don't throw it away. He talked about the amount of money we can expect from FEMA. So we're going to be trying to work, we're trying to make sure that we have everybody's contact information, work very closely with you to make sure that we can identify the gaps that are going to exist between where you are now and getting you back operational. So that may be temporary facility, temporary location, or it may be financing, help with cash flow, equipment purchases, that sort of thing. So please stay in touch. It's a two-way street. Y'all have seen Nashville, the Nashville region, all over the news. Safe to say we have not gotten the amount of exposure that those communities have gotten. And then when you hear about Clarksville, you're going to hear a lot about residential impact, and rightly so. But the business community is very faceless to most people. And so we're going to be asking for your help to help tell our story, to help tell your story specifically. We need to get our business community, get money rolling back into the business community as quickly as possible to make sure we get you back and operational. So we're going to be asking for your help. And the last thing I'll say is Christy Hill, Mayor Piper's Communications Director, and Daniel Binkley over here. Yesterday, day before, I went out yesterday and day before. We've flown the entire area. We've been on boat. TWRA was kind enough to take us out on boats. And so every building, couldn't get to Craft Street, Crafton College, but every building along this Riverside corridor, we have pictures of your facade. If it's a standalone building, we have pictures of it. So future documentation for your damages. We will have a data bank that will be downloadable share files. So we'll get that information out to you as well. But you know, when you couldn't get to it, I think we tried to make sure that between all of us, we got everybody's facilities. So unless there's questions for me, I'll get back to the mayor.
Thanks, sir.
About how many businesses is that affected? Do you have any ballpark numbers?
Danny,
How many businesses have been affected?
How many we tried to call today?
We went through 3 or 4 different databases, and we called every business owner that we could find on Craft Street and Riverside Drive.
We don't know the number. Okay, we're from the government. We're here to help. Just a moment, if I could, I'll give you more information. I'm good. And then I'll get you first, okay? Because we're going to open up the question here in just a moment. We have some information up here about FEMA, about assistance available, FEMA, your returning home, general tips, before a flood, after a flood, this type of information up here. We've made about 100 on each one of them, various numbers. So you're welcome to pick those up. If for some reason you don't get one, if you go to FEMA.com, that's where this came off of, and it'll help guide you there. Okay? We want to thank, you may have already done this, and if you did, I apologize. I want to thank Charles Lanker for allowing us to be here on the short notice. Thank you very much. The sheets that we're passing around, if you would give them to the officers that are here, Officer Jim Knoll, you have Chuck Gill over here, make sure they get that. Okay, let's open up some questions, try to move this along. And before we do that, it's pretty important also in this time. The governor mentioned today on a news conference that was in out here. It's really important that you're very careful of who you contract with. Make sure that you have a licensed contractor, and licensed contractors have the actual licensed contractor card. So, pretty important. Scam artists come in during these times and take advantage of people, and make sure you are not one of those people. I would also say to you, I would never pay in advance, ever. You may pay a small deposit up front, but not very much. That's my personal opinion. Okay, let's